Hi, I'm Hannah. This is Piles of Books, and today I'm going to be sharing a couple DNFs, a small library haul, books I have finished, and books I'm currently reading. Alright, so if you're new here, like I said, I'm Hannah. I am a mom of 6, including almost 4-month-old twin girls. This is one of them right here, the other is sleeping. We homeschool year-round. We live on a small hobby-ish homestead. Overall, I'm pretty busy, but I love to read and I love to talk about what I'm reading. So today I am going to bring you a bunch of books, and I'm going to try to not make this video be an hour long. Okay, so I will talk about my DNFs first, just to get them out of the way. So I have two here. The first one is The Lost Passenger by Frances Quinn. This is a Titanic story about a woman who let's see here. I'll just read from the back. It says, an immersive historical drama about a young mother who starts a new life with her son in New York after faking their deaths on the Titanic. So that gripped me, kind of pulled me in when I saw it on the shelf at the library. And I only read one chapter, but I'm going to take it back to the library for now. It may be something that I check out in the future. Especially if I hear really good things about it. It wasn't gripping me. And then I like to not read too much of the back or too much of the summary before I get into a book. And this one, I probably wouldn't have even grabbed it if I had read more. So I'm kind of learning my lesson with that with new books. But anyway, or modern books, I should say. Her husband kind of marries her for her money. She finds that out too late, and is then unhappy in her marriage, is what it seems to me. And that's just, I mean, I don't necessarily have a problem with that plot line. It's just, it doesn't sound interesting to me to read that right now. So like I said, this could be a really good book, but I'm not going to prioritize it at this point. The next one I have is The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. This book I am super disappointed about. So we are just beginning our ancient Greece part of our history unit with my kids. My oldest is 9, and he has read a lot of myths. I have read, I guess, probably all the myths that he has, the different books. But like, it's not something that's just overly interesting to me. But I thought, well, hey, maybe if I read a book like just about one, instead of like a collection of myths, just a story, maybe that would kind of help me to enjoy it a little bit more. So I just looked up some books online. This was one of them. I grabbed it from the library, and I'm super disappointed. So by the first, I don't know, maybe like 5 chapters, I kind of assumed it was going in a direction that I wasn't going to want to continue with, but I'm just gonna give it a little bit more time. So I did, and then what I was hoping would not happen happened. And I should have just stopped there, but then I thought again, well, hey, maybe this will be a redeeming thing, you know, later on in the book. I kind of skimmed ahead to, you know, maybe like 2/3 of the way through, and I saw that it was fixed a little bit, but I kept going, and then there was just more. So I put it down. I'm not going to read it. There is a very, we'll just say, a modern sort of romance that I personally don't agree with, and it was not closed door. So anyway, yeah, I am really disappointed about this because I really liked the writing. It was, I was really enjoying this book, but sadly it's not for me. So if you have some recommendations on something along that line, but that is clean, I would love to hear in the comments below. Okay, I will, I forgot my other stack of books, so I'm going to go to the other room and grab that and try to put this baby down, and I will be back. Okay, she didn't let me put her down, but her sister is sleeping, so we're going to go with it. Alright, so while we're talking about the library, I'll just go ahead and share, I'm sorting a couple things out here, sorry. I will just go ahead and share a library haul. I have a ton of books really that I could share, but I'm that I have out for my kids. But I'm just going to share the ones that I have out for me, and I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I'm not seeing it. So, like I said, we are just very beginning our ancient Greece part of our history unit. So I have some books for myself for that. These were recommended in a book of book lists, I guess. I'll share a picture of it. It's called All Through the Ages. If you are a homeschooler, I recommend this book. I don't believe it's in print anymore, so you have to find an older copy of it, but I have found it to be a really incredible resource. So the first one I have is The Last of the Wine by Mary Renault, I believe. And this is set in ancient Greece. It says, in a remarkable recreation of ancient Greece, the author tells the story of Alexius, a young Athenian of good family who reaches manhood in the last phases of the Peloponnesian War. So it looks like there's some mention of famous people and things there. The next one I have is by the same author, Mary Renault, and it is The King Must Die. And this one is, says, out of legend and history, Miss Renault's informed intuition has woven a novel of splendor and brilliance, the scintillating story of Theseus, slayer of monsters, abductor of princesses, king of Athens. So, I'm going to try those. And then I also have the Odyssey, but once it came in, I realized I actually have a copy of the Odyssey, so I'll probably send that one back. I feel like there's another one, but I can't seem to find it, so I might be just thinking of this one that I actually bought for myself. This is Till We Have Faces by C.S. Lewis. This is The Myth of Cupid and Psyche, rediscovered is what it says. So I've got that for myself. I was excited to see this. I believe it was on that same list as the Mary Renault books, because I've been wanting to read more C.S. Lewis this year. So I thought perfect timing for that. Okay, and then I will go over all the books that I have read recently, because I've got six books here, which feels like a lot, but it has been a couple weeks since I've shared. So I will start with this one. This is I Begin with Spring, The Life and Seasons of Henry David Thoreau. This is a middle grade book. I really enjoyed this a lot. There's a lot of pictures. The art, the illustrations are just super beautiful. But then of course the story as well. I really liked this. I will definitely be buying this at some point. My 9-year-old read it, and I'm not sure if I think my 7-year-old says she hasn't read it yet. We have to take this back to the library, but I will be checking this out at some point for her to read. Because my 9-year-old really liked it, and then I sat down and read it the other evening, and I loved it myself as well. And I've never read any Henry David Thoreau, but I have some of his books, and so I will probably I'm motivated to inspired, I guess. I'm inspired to pick up one of those, so I might do that soon. All right, the next one that I have is another library book. This is Bound by Donna Jo Napoli. I thought this one had to go back sooner than it did. I was able to renew it, so I renewed it, and then I didn't prioritize reading it because I was not really that into it, but I did finish it. This is a YA historical fiction about a girl named Jingjing. It's set in ancient China, and it's centered around the feet binding custom for little girls to prepare them for marriage, because they thought it was beautiful to have small feet, I guess. This is supposed to be a Cinderella story, and in some cases it definitely is. But the Cinderella part of the story doesn't come in until either chapter 26 or 27, and there's only 29 chapters, and they are 3 to 5-ish pages a piece. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. It felt like there was a ton of build up, and then it just ended, I guess. Is how it felt for me. So Jingjing lives with her stepmother, and her half-sister has her feet bound, and she's dealing with some struggles surrounding that, health struggles, mental struggles. So Jing helps to care for her. And there's, yeah, I don't know, there are a few other characters along the way, but for the most part it's just Jing, and her stepmother does something that's really, really terrible to her. And then I don't know, I overall I found it boring and disjointed and not a great book. All right, the next one is another library book. This is Liturgy of the Ordinary by Tish Harrison Warren. This was a really pretty fast, easy read for me. It was fine. I liked it. I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I read it, but it's not something that I'm gonna like seek out to buy and have on my shelf, or probably rave to everybody about for the next while. This is basically just about finding God in like little pockets of just a regular normal day. It's set up to go, like, the first chapter begins like first thing in the morning, and the last chapter is the last thing at night. So she just kind of talks about some just relatable everyday scenarios that happen in most people's lives, like checking your email, drinking tea, getting stuck in traffic, brushing your teeth, making your bed, that sort of thing. And it is a little flowery, a little poetic. At times, the whole book isn't that way. That's not really my style, but I mean, yeah. I don't have a ton to say about this book. I thought it was fine. And I don't know if she has any other books. If she does, I would probably read them. So, yeah. I guess that's it for that. Okay. The next one is Theological Retrieval for Evangelicals. This is by Dr. Gavin Ortland. This is a super heavy, meaty, weedy book. I definitely, as just, you know, a layperson myself, this felt like it kind of went over my head. I think that, I mean, I did learn some things. I got some inspiration for other works to read. He shares a lot of footnotes and a lot of books to go read, look up these quotes. But yeah, overall, this was probably, like, this time in my life is probably not the best time to read such a book as this. But I am glad that I read it, and I will definitely be keeping it on my shelves, and I hope that I will take the time to reread it in the future. I would also like to check out some of his other books because I am super intrigued. So I do take some different doctrinal stances than he does, but I am a Protestant, and so seeing how Protestant beliefs are woven out throughout history, and not just at the beginning of the Reformation with Martin Luther and John Calvin and the other men, that was fascinating, and I really enjoyed seeing him defend his beliefs for different things in this book. Then the last two books I have to share, I super enjoyed. So the first one is A Year in Provence by Peter Mayle. This is a memoir set in Provence, set in France, and it is about a husband and wife. They are retired and they moved to Provence. Was their favorite vacation spot for years and years, and they said that when they retired they would move there. So they did, and they are remodeling a house, and I didn't realize how much like the house and the remodeling project would play a part into this story, but it really did add a very fun element, I felt like. So there's 12 chapters, one for each month of the year. We start in January and in December. It was fun to read about all their different experiences, and the thought of what am I trying to say? Learning how everyday life in your favorite vacation spot is not the same as vacationing there for a week or two. It was kind of fun. So they have a sort of hermitish old man neighbor. I don't know if he's really their neighbor. Their land maybe butts up against each other, and he's not in the story a whole lot. I mean, I don't know if he's mentioned maybe like 5 or 6 times, but each time he reminded me of my dad. So Dad, if you're watching this, that was funny. And then they're oh, so like with the remodeling project, we meet several characters. They have um a plumber and like the guy who lays the carpet and an architect. Who else is there? And I just enjoyed kind of the banter between the different contractors. That was fun. And then also Faustin, I'm not sure how you say it. They're farmers, so they have grapes that I think most in this book anyway. I think most of the people in the area raise grapes, um, but so when they bought the house, they basically inherited this huge grape vineyard plot. Um, and there was a farmer that had been taking care of them. The old owners of the house were paying this farmer. Anyway, so they kept him on as the farmer, and he's kind of a pessimist, and I also enjoyed his character. So there wasn't really anything about this book that I didn't like. There were a couple of, I mentioned it I think in my last video, there's one character, he's in, I mean like 1 page or 2 pages maybe. This particular character is in the book, and he does use a couple of swear words, but I think that's it. Maybe in one other place, I can't quite remember. But anyway, didn't keep me from reading the book. It won't keep me from recommending the book. And I did see somewhere that there is a sequel to this, maybe in the back here. Yeah, there is a sequel. So if you have read the sequel and if it's as delightful as this one, please let me know, because I will seek it out eventually to read that. And then the last one I have is Agatha Christie's Sad Cypress. Okay, I really like this book. I say that every time I read an Agatha Christie, and I don't know why I don't just read them continually. But, you know, like I might read one and then I don't read one for 3 months, or I might read like 2 and then I don't read some for a few months. And every time I finish one, I'm like, why do I wait? These are so good. I liked this, and it was also fun because I actually solved it in a way. I figured out who did it, but actually how we get to how it was done, I had no idea, and I was totally shocked at the end. It kind of felt like if you're on a hike and the end of the hike is like right here, but you miss that little trail and you go all the way around and come back. That's how it felt to me. But the reading experience, it was fun. This is a Poirot mystery. I feel like he did not come in until like way late, and I mean, even just like there's a murder, of course there is. It's an Agatha Christie, so it's not a spoiler, but even the murder, it seemed like it took a long time to get there. But all of the backstory was definitely needed, and it wasn't like it was a slog to get through. I mean, I enjoyed it. So in this book, it opens up with Eleanor and Roderick, I believe is his name. They are almost cousins, but they're not. So she is the niece of the old woman who dies, and then he is the nephew of that woman's late husband. So they're not cousins, but they share an aunt and uncle. Does that make sense? I think that's how it is. Anyway, they are engaged to be married, and they receive an anonymous letter. They believe it's from one of the aunt's servants, that they feel like the aunt is sickly. She's had a stroke, and the servant kind of says, or whoever it is, we find out at the end, says that they feel like the aunt is going to die soon, and her money, instead of going to Eleanor and Roddy, like everyone assumes, it's going to go to this other girl. So they try to figure it out. Things happen. The aunt dies. Yeah, so like I said, I really enjoyed this, and all of my Agatha Christie's I have, they are all these they're all these vintage like mass market paperback books, and when I pick them up, I like will stare at the cover and like I don't understand this cover. By the end, I can always understand it. But I don't the bird. I am confused by the bird. I can't remember how that, if at all, plays into the story. But anyway, these covers are fantastic. Okay. Oh, I guess the books that I'm reading really quick, I'll go over those. I'm almost finished with Dane Ortland's Surprised by Jesus. So Dane Ortland is Gavin Ortland's brother. Dane Ortland wrote Gentle and Lowly that I read last year, and I really enjoyed that one. And this one has been also just fantastic. I've got some marked pages. I've got lots of highlighting. So this is kind of just like how, let's see, how the different gospels portray Jesus in a surprising way. So, you know, in Matthew, he's kind of portrayed as the friend of sinners. In Mark, he is the king that has to suffer and die. And I've finished with the portion on Luke, and I've started the portion of John. So I don't have very much left to read. Also, like, this isn't a huge book, and the font is fairly large, so it really is a fast read. I was trying to take it slower and soak it all in, but I had quite a chunk of time to sit down and just read while I was rocking babies yesterday. So I got quite a bit done in there. And then I'm also reading Louis L'Amour's The Daybreakers. I've only read like the first 6 chapters. I'm not very far in here. I'm just not finding myself picking it up quite as much, but I'm sure it'll pick up because it does seem like some of his books start kind of slow, but then once you get into it, it's hard to put them down. The other one, it's right over here. This is my husband's nightstand. This book right here. It's Orthodoxy by G.K. Chesterton. I read the first 2 chapters in that yesterday as well. And I'm enjoying that one so far. So I don't know what I'm going to pick up next. Once I finish, I'm going to try to finish Surprised by Jesus today, probably. And then, I guess probably one of these Mary Renault books, and Till We Have Faces, I suppose will be next. So let's see, if you have some good mythology books, like I've read Olivia Coolidge's Greek myths. I've read the Roger Lancelin Green Tale of the Greek Heroes. I've read the D.L. Ayers Greek myths. What else have I read? I have a few that I also have for my kids that I got from the library or that I bought that I haven't read, so I will try to do those. But I'd really like just a book that's just about one myth. Something like The Song of Achilles, but not that particular book. That is just that one story. So if you have any recommendations, please let me know, because I will try to pick them up right away. I'm very interested in that. For some reason, that hasn't really occurred to me to do that, just to get a book just on one myth. All of the mythology books I've read have all been collections. And I think just kind of like, there's just a lot going on. And I just kind of get bogged down, and I just find that I'm not enjoying it. So yeah, I would like to read some more myths. I do think that they are important to the literary tradition, and I just need to, I guess, find my groove for reading them for myself. So anyway, yeah, if you have any comments or questions about any of the books I shared here today, please leave them in the comments below, and I will get to your comment as soon as I can. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you in the next video.